Oh, and P.S. Speaker Mike Johnson refuses to call the House back in session to vote on disaster aid supplemental. Congress will not convene for another 5 weeks, which is wild to me because they just got back from summer vacation the other day. Man, let me go fundraise some money so I can primary Ocasio and have a bunch of weeks off too. Someone on Twitter said it best. Hurricanes should be named after politicians who deny climate change. Well, please also note Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis refused to take any calls from Vice President Harris about storm recovery. A DeSantis aide told NBC News, and I quote, Kamala was trying to reach out and we didn't answer, end quote. Y'all lucky I'm not president because I wouldn't give him, the state, nor the residents a dime. Y'all like living in Florida and like Florida politics? Well, y'all deal with the consequences of your actions. Call Putin for help, hunty. Especially since Trump was secretly sending Putin 19 COVID tests during a global pandemic. Is this not treason? Questions I need answers. Sidebar. I say apparently because since the DNC, I have been on hiatus from the news for my mental health. And I totally missed a whole hurricane. Please note, Project 2025 plans to dismantle FEMA and other federal aid that helps natural disasters. Katrina 2.0 basically every day, especially for you folks in Florida. Good luck. And y'all will have an incompetent nincompoop leading y'all throwing paper towels at people. Comedian D.L. Hughley said it best. You guessed it, on Twitter. And I quote, the test of a leader is how they respond during a crisis. From his handling of COVID to the way he responds to natural disasters, Trump has proven over and over again he'd rather lie than lead. End tweet. No lies told. A sidebar to the sidebar. Putin has declared Russia a safe haven for people trying to escape Western liberal ideas. A black woman on Twitter tweeted, please go. Please take all of them. MTG, the Sandy Hook denier, Megyn Kelly's racist ass, please, my God, let it happen. End tweet. I concur. Too bad most of them can't afford the flight to Russia. And you know Putin damn sure not gonna pay for it. Speaking of Russia, the U.S. government charges former Trump 2016 campaign advisor Dmitry Simes with working for a sanctioned Russian state television network and laundering the proceeds. Told y'all Trump was Putin's puppet. Hillary said that too. J.D. Vance and his team weren't allowed in a restaurant the other day, but guess who was? And they were allowed to film. Kamala. And Tim were allowed in and were allowed to film. Moo-ha-ha-ha. Now the restaurant is stating that J.D. Vance wasn't banned and they were confused when him and his entourage came in. Sure. Now J.D. Vance wants folks to boycott the restaurant. Bruh, somebody cut the restaurant a check for doing the Lord's work. More work than these churches doing, but that's Tito. In other news, they got nothing on Kamala, so they're chastising her for, wait for it, jewelry. Apparently, her $800 Tiffany earrings she wore during the presidential debate and her $62,000 necklace she wore at the border. Sidebar, Kamala looked so good at the border. The sunglasses was everything. The border that folks begged her to go visit is too expensive for a presidential elect. Oops, Freudian slip. From my lips to God's ears, I mean presidential candidate, vice president, former senator, former attorney general, and former prosecutor. Are y'all on crack? No, seriously. Like questions I need answers. That is my question for 2024. Are y'all modern day crackheads? Molly heads, is it? Lean heads even? You cannot dictate, nor should you ever criticize a wealthy middle-aged black woman that has worked her ass off to get her job title and salary. She can afford to buy what she wants, unlike most of y'all. That's how it's supposed to be. When you go to school, do the right thing, get educated, don't have kids out of wedlock, balance your budget, marry well. Isn't that what y'all preached to black women for decades? Well, she did it. Now shut the fuck up. I mean, her husband is wealthy, and so is her sister. The shit could have been a gift, first of all. Mind your business. and stop clocking black people and black women's pockets. Y'all are the same mofos that say if black people get reparations, what will they do with the money? They will spend it recklessly. Honey, baby, cupcake, we will spend every dime as we wish. You just pray we don't pay the cartel to come get y'all ass. That's what you should be worried about. They are also trying to come at Kamala for not speaking to traditional media. NBC's Andrea Mitchell, I really want to ask who she screwed to get her job, but I don't like to slut shame. Anyways, she said Kamala needs to, and I quote, double down on more interviews and serious interviews. She's got such a big problem with men. Big problem. But also the business world. They don't think she's serious. They don't think she's a heavyweight. End quote. Well, Harris will either do or has done interviews with the following media outlets. Howard Stern, he wore a suit for the interview. Make sure you watch it. Ricky Smiley, Call Her Daddy, All the Smoke, Oprah, 60 Minutes, The View, Stephen Colbert, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Oh, and fun fact, Kamala's Fox News interview received 7.1 million views. And Trump's Fox interview only received 3 million. And a town hall with Univision that went terrible for Trump. I think that's enough. But since it is not, the New York Times and the Washington Post folks are mad. Well, too bad, so sad. And this tweet sums up my sentiments precisely. Again, this is fear speaking. If she wins utilizing this strategy, local interviews, town halls, Howard Stern, black media, what happens? Legacy media's relevance and importance vanishes. Pray that it happens. Oh, fuck off, sleepy Andrea. End quote. Well said. No notes. Apparently, Trump said he was going to do the 60-minute interview, but declined when they said they would fact check. In 2024, if you are scared of a fact check, you should not hold any office, any title, anything, nothing. Please note, Trump is the first presidential candidate in 50 years to not do a 60 minutes interview. Insanity. The second gentleman, Doug, announced that he will continue teaching if he becomes the first gentleman, and that the first lady, Dr. Biden, gave him great tips on how to do so. Love that for him. He also got really spicy at a campaign rally and stated, if the goal is to make us afraid, it's not working. I'm from Jersey, she's from Oakland. We don't scare that easy. End quote. Well, somebody clocked into their husband job. Donald Trump said at a rally, and I quote, Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born this way. End quote. This son of a bitch has some real audacity, given the mental state of him and his youngest son being in question recently. Apparently, Barron used to defecate himself when people he didn't like came near him. Sip that tea. Anything Trump said is projection. So we all know what that means. Trump is impaired. Shocker. The New York Times did a story on Trump's cognitive decline. Finally, here is an excerpt. He rambles, he repeats himself, he roams from thought to thought, some of them hard to understand, some of them unfinished, some of them factually fantastical. He voices outlandish claims that seem to be made up out of whole cloth. He digresses into bizarre tangents about golf, about sharks, about his own beautiful body. He relishes a great day in Louisiana after spending the day in Georgia. He expresses fear that North Korea is trying to kill me when he presumably means Iran. As late as last month, Mr. Trump was still speaking as if he were running against President Biden, 5 weeks after his withdrawal from the race. End quote. And this is who folks are supporting and voting for. Send an asteroid and the dinosaurs ASAP. Somebody go find Megalodon in the pits of the ocean and tell him to come up here and eat us all. Kamala is doing an HBC tour in battleground states such as Winston-Salem State, Lincoln in Pennsylvania, Virginia State, North Carolina, A&T State University, Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark, Atlanta. I love an HBCU tour, especially by an HBCU grad. Y'all lucky. I remember my senior year at Syracuse, Biden came back to campus and we lost our shit. He is totally my favorite alum. In other news, the My Pillow CEO, remember him? He told NBC News he's broke, and I quote, he said, "We've lost everything, every dime, all of it is gone," end quote. Well, someone on Twitter said it best, and I quote, "All Trump touches turns to shit," end quote. Since we're on the subject of CEOs, a certain famous rapper slash CEO got arrested and CEOs started resigning like flies. Even Fox Business said the rate of CEOs resigning or retiring is, and I quote, unprecedented. Just to name a few of the companies: Sony Music Nashville, Nike, Warner Music Japan, Hertz, 300 Entertainment, have all lost their CEO. And the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch was arrested on sex trafficking charges. Oklahoma orders all public schools to teach the Bible, effective immediately, and a teacher who refuses could lose their license. Please note, this is illegal, is unconstitutional, and may be struck down. I say may because the MAGA court, I mean Supreme Court, may wrongfully uphold it. Elections matter, people. Told y'all to vote for the headband and pantsuit lady in 2016. Another reason why y'all should have voted for the former junior senator from New York: home insurers argue for a 42% average rate hike in North Carolina. Please note that it's not affordable for anywhere in the country, especially North Carolina. Elections matter, people. See? Meanwhile, mortgage rates have dropped to their lowest level since February 2023. Thanks, Biden. Speaking of money and increases, Trump's proposals would add $4 trillion more to U.S. debt than Harris's. BBC World News reported, "I keep telling y'all Democrats get us out of debt and give us surpluses, and Republicans get us into debt, recessions, depressions, and inflations. The choice is obvious." Congratulations are in order for the White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. She was promoted to a senior advisor role in the White House, the first time this was done in decades. Congratulations. I love how she eats up the White House press corp on a daily, honey. Lord knows I applied for that job a million times, but it wasn't meant to be because as a journalist, I would curse each and every last one of them the fuck out daily. Better you than I. Congratulations again. Hashtag Black Girl Magic. Hashtag Black Excellence. Illegal crossings at the U.S. southern border have reached new Biden-era lows, reported by CBS News. So let me get this straight. The GOP is campaigning against Biden on issues at the border and checks notes. There are no issues at the border. Shocker. That definitely tracks. The the Supreme Court, let stand a decision barring emergency abortions that violate Texas ban. Elections have consequences, and frankly, I have no sympathy for those that continue to get pregnant in Republican-led states. Period. Kids aren't necessary, and there's no guarantee that you will have a healthy pregnancy. So you are risking your life for what? Selfish reasons. Because there is no unselfish reason to have a kid. Go adopt or face the consequences. Hashtag 4B movement. Oh, and CNN reported that new research found that infants died at higher rates in the U.S. following the Supreme Court decision that revoked the federal right to an abortion. Women are not going back. I know y'all think it's a cute political slogan, but it is the truth. If women go back, it will be to a time where women died trying to get abortions, killed their infant children, killed their husbands due to not having no-fault divorce, and killing their rapists. Basically, a lot of killing. So I suggest we move forward as a union and not backwards. Everybody granddaddy died at the breakfast table. You think that's a coincidence? Exactly. And because there is always a tweet, I will read one. How come y'all be too Christian for abortions, but not too Christian to have premarital sex and premarital babies? End quote. Questions that need answers. Well, Special Counsel Jack Smith is planning to indict Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't even care enough to Google why. I don't care if she kicked the dog, child, or roughly played with the fish in a fish tank. Anything to get her out of Congress. Please, Godspeed. She should have been indicted for calling Harrison Floyd, a black senior campaign staffer on Trump's 2020 re-election campaign and one of the 19 defendants indicted in 2023 in Fulton County, Georgia, the N-word. Good for her. Take us out the group chat. Black Republicans are idiots. You know how the Klan party thinks about you, and your goofy ass still shows up and votes for them. So get what you get and leave us out of it. Have you seen all the different unions going rogue for Kamala Harris? So some of these MAGA unions don't want to endorse Kamala. So the individual state and local unions are doing so. From the firefighters union in Minnesota to the Teamsters, they are all supporting the Harris Waltz ticket. Thank you. I'm elated that my union is also supporting the ticket. Hey. Speaking of unions, did y'all see the port workers went on strike and went from making $39 per hour to $63 per hour? And that's why mobilizing and organizing works. Did y'all also see people bulk buying toilet paper again? I hate y'all. Anyways, per usual, President Biden swooped in and helped to broker a deal to end the strike. And the next day, he was praised for a remarkable jobs report. My president is working, honey. He clocked in on his Irish job, baby. Someone tweeted, you know who the real master of the art of the deal is? It's Joe Biden. He gets it done with no fanfare, no credit, and no thanks. I couldn't have said it better myself. Speaking of jobs, since 1989, 51 million jobs were created. 50 million were created by Democrats. Of course, my favorite president, Bill Clinton, created the most with 22.9 million. But Biden created the second most at 16.2 million. And that's why I bleed blue. Let's call Biden Jobinette from now on. Oh, and the new jobs report said Biden recently created 250K new jobs and unemployment has fallen to 4.1%. Y'all know that's the margin of error, right? Oh, okay. Remember when Republicans say election fraud occurs, they be lying and projecting? Well, former Colorado County Clerk Tina Peters has been sentenced to 9 years behind bars for voting system data scheme. See what I told you? Speaking of election fraud, did you hear Trump may have voted illegally when he cast an early primary ballot in Palm Beach? Apparently, he didn't have the necessary grant of clemency to vote since he is a convicted felon. Lock his monkey ass the fuck up. Since we are discussing Biden, let's discuss the $150 million in research grants given to quickly distinguish between healthy and cancerous cells in patients. Again, this man is working while y'all talking shit, per usual. The White House also announced 10 of Medicare's most popular and costliest drugs will be cut after a deal was created with them and the Biden-Harris administration. Now you know why your granny and mine are voting for Kamala. Speaking for Kamala, over 20K people signed up in August to volunteer for her in, drumroll please, Florida. Hell has truly frozen over. Meanwhile, Trump is closing field offices in swing states. I signed up to volunteer for Kamala. The White House also announced starting in January, seniors on Medicare will have their out-of-pocket drug costs capped at $2K per year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost usually $14,000 per year. And that's Bidenomics for you. Now check this, because hell has truly indeed frozen the fuck over. Evangelist preacher Billy Graham's granddaughter joins evangelicals for Harris, and she quoted scripture from Isaiah to blast those supporting Trump. I have no words. Google that scripture. A judge blocks the Biden administration from granting legal status to immigrant spouses of U.S. citizens. And someone tweeted, everybody asking why you can't do it right now. You're in the White House right now. It's because your lazy ass didn't vote in 2016. So we have an angry and corrupt judiciary stopping everything, end quote. Well, speaking of courts blocking good Democratic initiatives, a ballot proposal in Baltimore that would pay new parents $1,000 has been ruled unconstitutional by the Maryland Supreme Court. Elections matter. Elections have consequences. New voters' registrations in Pennsylvania among Black women under 30 increased by 262%. Go ahead, compared to 2020. Have y'all seen the amount of recalls and contaminations from policies that stem from Trump's deregulation during his administration or lack thereof? Here are a few of the recalls: cucumbers, peppers, green beans, Palmer candy, boar's head deli meat and cheese, hot dogs, liquid eggs, tattoo pigments, cinnamon, and so much more. Damn, even the tattoo ink is contaminated. Wow, never thought I'd see the day. 9 people died from listeria due to the boar's head deli meat. So don't play games. This is not a joke. According to the CDC, the new 6 deaths include one from Florida, one from Tennessee, one from New Mexico, New York, 2 from South Carolina. And this all happened because Trump allowed Boar's Head to do their own inspections. That's like the city letting your landlord inspect the problems in your apartment and reporting it instead of DCHR doing it. Exactly. That makes perfect sense. A Virginia plant that produced deli meat is the culprit of the listeria outbreak. Now, here's the headline from September 17th, 2019. Trump administration allows pork slaughterhouses to have fewer USDA inspectors. I have no words. Sidebar: 12 cinnamon and spice brands were found to have high levels of lead in them, and 49 people in 10 states were affected by a deadly E. coli outbreak linked to McDonald's Quarter Pounders. Frankly, at this point, if you still eat McDonald's after watching the doc Super Size Me, you get what you get. It's natural selection and survival of the fittest at this point. Only the smart will survive. Hunter Biden pled guilty to and was convicted on 3 felony tax offenses and 6 misdemeanor tax offenses. He released a statement, and I quote, "I went to trial in Delaware not realizing the anguish it would cause my family, and I would not put them through it again. When it became clear to me that the same prosecutors were focused not on justice, but on dehumanizing me for my actions during my addiction, there was only one path left for me. I will not subject my family to more pain, more invasions of privacy, and needless embarrassment. For all I have put them through over the years, I can spare them this. So I've decided to plead guilty. Like millions of Americans, I failed to file and pay my taxes on time. For that, I am responsible. As I have stated, addiction is not an excuse, but it is an explanation for some of my failures at issue in this case. When I was addicted, I wasn't thinking about my taxes. I was thinking about surviving." End quote. All I will say about this is I can't wait until the Trump kids are convicted of treason. One thing Democrats and politics is known for is karma and revenge. Just wait for it. And get baby Barron's ass too. Speaking of taxes, Trump stated that he plans to eliminate taxes on overtime pay, even though he also said he wouldn't pay employees overtime because he, and I quote, hated it. Trump also admitted that he refuses to pay people overtime and will end overtime pay for all those eligible if reelected. I believe that this is also outlined in Project 2025. Y'all middle and low wage workers better vote. That's all I know. Meanwhile, police overtime in NYC went from $4 million in 2022 to $155 million in 2023. Brown University's Black freshman enrollment dropped 40%. That's what happens when folks lobby against affirmative action. Brown sucks anyway, and the people that go there are insufferable. In a room full of college graduates, the Brown grads always stick out, and it's never for the right reasons. Brown and Cornell folks makes me sick. I digress. Speaking of affirmative action, I'll just read this headline from the New York Times. Yale, Princeton, and Duke are questioned over decline in Asian students. Someone tweeted, African American proverb, we tried to tell y'all. End tweet. I have no words. Speaking of the New York Times, folks were protesting outside their office in NYC with signs that stated, "Stop sane washing Trump." End quote. Finally. So, There seems to be a recent spike in femicide, especially towards Black women and women of color. Please note, 6 women are killed every hour by men globally, most by men in their own family or their partners. A new report shows that in the UK, a woman is killed by a man every 3 days. So who are men protecting women from again? Got it. Other men. I told y'all these men need a curfew and leashes. Additionally, approximately 62% of all women killed in London last year were Black, despite Black women only making up 14% of London's population. Since we're discussing London, a man was just convicted of raping and killing an unconscious woman on a park bench in 2021. He raped her so violently that she had a heart attack and died while unconscious. Let that sink in. Someone shot at Kamala's campaign office in Arizona. Have you mofos lost your mind? Didn't Black folks tell y'all under Obama that if y'all touch him or his family, it would be big problems? Well, that still holds for Kamala. Y'all know that, right? Y'all cruising for a bruising in this country in the form of a civil war that y'all won't win again. Go do something safe, like play in traffic. That's way safer than playing in my vice president's face. Find something safe to do. A Michigan man stabbed a postal worker after she placed a Kamala Harris flyer in his mailbox stating, and I quote, "I don't want that Black bitch in my mailbox." Well, sir, you never have to worry about that ever again because you are now felon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because attacking a postal worker is indeed a federal crime. And now you are a criminal. Congrats. And y'all already know he was a palm-colored person, so don't even ask. A Ugandan Olympic athlete died after being set on fire by her Kenyan boyfriend. She had burns on over 75% of her body. She was the third Kenyan athlete to die at the hands of her boyfriend in 3 years. A Miss Switzerland finalist was strangled to death, then pureed. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pureed in a blender by her husband. A 15-year-old Good Luck Bison breaks into neighbor's home and rapes 14-year-old girl to death. Femicide is rising in Turkey, and the government has rolled back protections for women. Recently, there were double murders of 2 19-year-old women. Women have taken to the streets to protest. Reading a book is apparently a privilege only Western women have because it is now illegal in Afghanistan for women to read a book and sing in public. Basically, The Handmaid's Tale in 2024. In Pakistan, a woman was raped and the rapist was not arrested. Instead, the Sharia council determined the rapist's sister should be raped by the victim's brother. The innocent teenage girl was publicly raped in front of 40 people in what is called revenge rape in Sharia law. Sound like Hammurabi law to me. A female doctor was raped and murdered in a hospital in India, and now her name is appearing on porn sites as men want to seek out footage of the assault. And then folks wonder why tourism in India has plummeted. A woman beats 3 men in a rap battle, so they raped her, set her on fire, shot her, and guess what? She lived. How many jackasses does it take to rape, rap, and kill a woman? Apparently, these 3 dummies wasn't enough. Now, this is a story that stirred my soul. Every fiber in my body is disgusted. Listen to this and really listen, because for this alone, women need a crusade. The whole world should come to a screeching halt. I don't know why women are cooking, cleaning, fucking, sucking, and going to work when this kind of shit is taking place on the earth. We need a day without women. This story comes out of France. According to The Cut, Giselle Pellicot found out she was the victim of a crime when police showed her the evidence, photos, and videos spanning a decade in which a series of men raped her unconscious body in her own bedroom. More confounding still was the perpetrator, the 71-year-old's husband of 50 years, Dominique Pellicot. He posted an advertisement for men to come rape his wife while she was drugged unconscious and said it was a game and that she consented. The 51 rapists ranged in age from 26 to 74. Giselle has 4 STDs, and doctors could not figure out how she got them and why she suffered memory loss for decades. Please note, the father was also found to have raped their daughter, but there is no evidence of that yet. During the ongoing court case, Giselle let some of the rape tapes be shown in open court. She is a shero. She believes that she shouldn't be ashamed of what happened to her and that the rapist should be ashamed. And I concur. But let me be clear. The only reason any light was shed on the situation is because her husband got caught recording up the skirts of women in public. I don't know how this case got to court because I'd personally kill him. If not for me, then for my daughter. Point blank, period. And those other 51 known men, because it was more than 51, they just only identified 51 from the tapes, would be seeing me too. Additionally, there were apparently 3 to 4 men that saw Giselle drugged and unconscious and that did not rape her and left. But those same men never reported what they encountered to police, and they should die too. Period. This story is disgusting, deplorable, flabbergasting, and so disheartening that you can be married to your own op. And women aren't safe even in their own bedrooms. This woman was raped by her neighbor, a neighbor she saw and spoke to every day. The neighbor saw multiple men come in and out of her home at odd hours daily for years, and no one said anything. That's fucking disgusting and deplorable. And there's only one form of justice for this: death. Bring back shame, flogging, duels, scarlet letters, etc. Because you motherfuckers have really reached satanic levels and needs to be escorted off the planet. I said what I said. I hope Giselle and her daughter receive the justice they deserve. But in this case, with that judge, I don't know. K.S. Pryor said it best. The real sexual revolution is going to be holding abusers accountable. And lastly, did y'all see that punk ass judge that reprimanded a little black girl that was visiting his courtroom on a class trip for sleeping? He went so far as to have her handcuffed and detained for sleeping. That son of a bitch needs to be disbarred. He shouldn't be a judge or a lawyer. Clearly, you have more issues than Vogue that you need to handle in a psych ward, not a courtroom with spectators and criminals, etc. Then, to make a horrible situation worse, we find out that the little girl was sleeping during the field trip because her and her mother are experiencing homelessness, and she has trouble sleeping because they were sleeping in their car. What an evil bastard that judge is. This was such an evil combination of misogynoir, the adultification of little black girls, and a power trip from a degenerate old black man. Typical. Now, they said the judge has been demoted to speeding tickets and minor offenses. No, ma'am. He needs to be off the bench permanently. And every case he ever presided over needs to be reviewed, period. I just have to say that women have the power to end global femicide, but y'all are not mad enough for me. Let me know when y'all ready for the crusade, because I've been ready. When y'all tired of watching your sisters die globally at the hands of wayward men, let me know. Hashtag me too. Hashtag 4B movement. Oh, and one more thing. For all the boy moms and dads out there, y'all better start raising your sons instead of coddling them, or you're gonna bury them. Whether that's at the hands of the police, someone on the street, or maybe a girl that granddaddy taught her how to shoot. But there will be a lot of slow walking, singing, and t-shirts if y'all keep letting your baby boys run amok. Period. What Beyonce said in that song, Daddy Lessons? Daddy said shoot? Yeah. Ladies, keep some form of protection on you at all times. And for the boy moms and dads, get your insurance policy ready. Here's a tweet. Men are afraid that women will laugh at them. Women are afraid that men will douse them with petrol and burn them alive or drug them till they're unconscious and invite strangers round to repeatedly rape them. End tweet. Oh, and speaking of women's rights, the Missouri AG Andrew Bailey is suing an abortion company because the pills are causing Missouri teens to not reproduce. thereby injuring the state due to a significant population decrease. And this is why family planning is importante, because if you are impoverished, uneducated, and or have an unplanned pregnancy, the likelihood of your child growing up to be just another worker bee, just another municipality worker, is extremely high. Stats show kids only go one step further than their parents. So if you are a janitor, your kid will likely be a garbage man. Why would you set your kid up for a life condition and the possibility of a life of poverty and struggle? That's absurd, inconsiderate, evil, and selfish. Do better. The state's attorney general is literally telling you on paper in legal documents that your poor decisions benefit the state and will be used by the state for the state's well-being. And y'all continue to do it. Then y'all give these kids these weird names and they can't even get the state job. I cannot. And since we're on the subject of women having power, a new poll came out. Now let me stop. It is now election season. People have already voted by mail and early voted. So with that being said, polls are now null and void. But for the hell of it, here is a latest poll that states white women favor Trump over Harris by 5 points. And to that I say shocker. Of course they do. They vote their privilege every time. They vote against their interests every time. I will never forget them pink hats marching after Hillary lost, knowing they were the reason Hillary lost. The most disingenuous group on the planet. Next subject. So Trump is campaigning on placing tariffs on certain goods. Well, that will be a problem. And Team Harris is capitalizing on it by telling young people if Trump wins, he will place a tariff on alcoholic beverages. And of course, college-age kids don't want that. Brilliant. Trump is an idiot. Wait, let's go back to speaking of insane judges. A Michigan judge, Kathleen Ryan, was recording calling Black Americans, and I quote, fucking lazy pieces of shit, end quote, and using homophobic slurs. She is also quoted as saying, I can honestly say that, okay, I'm not systemically racist. I'm a new racist, end quote. She is no longer handling cases, but honestly, she needs to be investigated by the DOJ, and all her cases need to be externally reviewed. She also needs to be committed and take an IQ test, because a racist judge is indeed the epitome of systemic racism. While we're on the DOJ, they have finally decided to open the first ever federal review into the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. Finally, thank you. In other news, y'all better check your ballots. I just got mine in the mail, but if you live in North Carolina and any state below the Mason-Dixon line, check your voter registration, because 747,000 votes were cited as ineligible. Sounds like 2016 all over again. The Republicans are closing offices across the country. They do not plan on having a fair election. They plan on resorting to the same tried and true methods of the past to win: cheating. Let's call it defiance, if you will, for all the scandal lovers and gladiators in suits out there. Yes, I am still a diehard Olitz fan, and stop saying my namesake Olivia was a mission. Fitz's marriage was not legal. It was an arranged marriage by his pappy. Arranged marriages are illegal in America. Fitz did not know Melly from 2 cans of paint when they got married. Please stop. Don't get me started. Anyway, did y'all catch Olitz at the DNC? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I loved it. And did you see the entire cast of Scandal, excluding Mama and Papa Pope, on a whole campaign stop for Kamala? I love that. They're like the only cast in TV history that love each other and still work together, almost a decade after the show ended. Keep it up, gladiators. And Shonda, give us the damn Olitz spinoff we want. I told Carrie last September when I met her at her book signing that we want a damn Olitz spinoff. Give it to us via Netflix, thanks. I want to see Fitz and Liv making jam in Vermont, damn it. Black women deserve a happy ending. And, as Sanaa Lathan would say, something new. Jesus. Oh, and in Arizona, mail-in ballots were set on fire after they were placed in a postal collection office box. So once you mail your ballot, track it and make sure it was received and your vote was counted. That can be done online. And more voting news, aka 5011 Reasons to Vote. Kamala was left off the ballot in Montana and in Nebraska. The requirements were changed, so now voters need to provide proof of citizenship to vote. Needless to say, Google the laws in your state to vote and ensure that your vote is counted if your vote was mailed in. Sidebar. There's always a sidebar. Former RNC chair Michael Steele just predicted on MSNBC that Kamala Harris will win Florida, North Carolina, and Georgia. I don't know about Florida. Florida been rigged for decades by Republicans, but maybe Michael knows something that I don't. Either way, it won't be a landslide win. So you better vote like your life depends on it, because it absolutely does. Speaking of MSNBC, Nicole Wallace reported that Donald Trump's rhetoric at one of his rallies in September was so racist that MSNBC refused to air it. I don't even want to know what he said, especially since Trump said, and I quote, "I need the kind of generals that Hitler had," end quote. 44 Republican senators voted against protecting IVF. Google that list. 87 Republicans also voted against giving Billie Jean King a Congressional Gold Medal. Wow. Now this one got me. Listen to this. A Gettysburg, yes, this is going exactly where you think it is. Nothing good happens in Gettysburg. Anyway, a Gettysburg college student athlete is no longer enrolled at the school after allegedly using a box cutter to etch the N-word into another student's checks. Now I have one question, and one question only. Even if you were blackout drunk or sleeping, how the hell did the person have the opportunity to be that close to you and your person for such a long period of time to carve on your person the entire N-word that has 6 letters? Quickly answer before I throw my whole laptop. Some of y'all are exact replicas of your parents, whole jackasses. Next story. And I'm not victim blaming, but this one I will never understand. If you say the N-word to me, the chances of you living are slim. But coming near me with a box cutter to carve what now? Baby, I wish a motherfucker would. Y'all know who to try. Y'all know who to try, because boy, it would have definitely been a race riot on that campus that night in my honor, child. Google Hannah Strong and how I handled her when she said the N-word on Syracuse University's campus. And know that I single-handedly did that whole protest and campaign in mere hours after the video went viral. Don't play with me. I will be your hell and your high water. Call me Papa Pope. Your whole mama and Papa Pope. Don't try it. Apparently the Gettysburg student no longer attends the college, but still, what the actual fuck? I blame this country for not punishing those that committed treason and for memorializing the Confederacy and the Civil War in such a way that remnants and relics of that time are still so pervasive. Let's not repeat this history with the January 6th votes, and let's punish them until the ends of the earth, so the world and those Confederates know that, not on our watch. Please note, thus far, 915 people have pleaded guilty for their roles in the siege of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Now on to some similar fugazi shit. Several LA sheriff's deputies, not the cops, the whole sheriff, including 2 detectives, were relieved of duty in connection with an ongoing federal investigation. You see why I say defund the police? They are the biggest thugs this country got. Oh, and NYPD's police commissioner stepped down amid a federal investigation, and so did the city council's top attorney. Yeah, it sounds like Mayor Adams is going down, and he is taking all his cronies with him. And a black woman tweeted, "Guys, it's not that big of a deal. A lot of lawyers quit their job late on a Saturday night after the FBI seizes the phones of their coworkers." End tweet. My sentiments precisely. And because there is always a tweet, here's another one. Police don't prevent crime. They show up after it happens. Crime prevention starts with funding social programs and creating opportunity. End tweet. My sentiments precisely. Here's another one. This election being about a cop versus a felon, and police unions overwhelmingly siding with the felon tells you everything you need to know about who the police really serve. Sidebar. The Fraternal Order of Police also endorsed Trump. Another sidebar. I know y'all saw the NYPD shot 4 people over $2.90. Meanwhile, Someone lit up a crack pipe in front of me, broad daylight, on the 5 train the other day, and there was no police in sight. Please, don't get me started. And of course, there's a tweet. More than 11% of New York City public school students are homeless. But thank God the NYPD got $11 billion in 2024 so they could shoot 4 people over $2.90. End tweet. Basically, speaking of criminals, did you hear about the 5-4 SCOTUS ruling blocking the Biden administration's entire Title V sex discrimination rule? Meaning, Louisiana essentially ended Title V across the country, i.e., women and gender studies departments will be allowed to be defunded or disbanded. Women's sports won't have to report equal funding for accommodations to men, and the schools will be able to discriminate in enrolling and hiring. Speaking of more criminality, did y'all see Trump's ghetto and thugified staffers fighting the staff at Arlington Cemetery because Trump wanted to do a photo op there, and that is not allowed? This is still being investigated. I cannot. Everyone knows not to play with the dead, or the dead will play with you. Good luck with that. But wait, there is more. Apparently, Trump's campaign tried to create the appearance that there was a large ceremony on the anniversary of the Taliban attack and that Biden and Harris chose not to go to the event, but Trump did. Hence why right-wing media kept proclaiming that Biden and Harris didn't show up. But baby, there was nothing official for them to show up to. Insidious. For all his evil doing, Trump was informed that the state of New Jersey will not renew his liquor license at his New Jersey golf course due to his felony convictions. Ha 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 ha. The best thing Jersey ever did outside of giving the world Whitney Houston and Frank Sinatra. Trump did get one recent victory. His sentencing date for his criminal trial was supposed to be last month, but the judge pushed it back to November 26th. Fucking idiot. He needed this victory because New York Magazine just stated this, and I quote, "So in an effort to highlight his claim that Kamala Harris never worked at McDonald's, Trump pretended to work at a closed McDonald's where he served pretend I can't even say this shit. Pretend orders to supporters pretending to be customers." Did y'all see that shit? He is a confused orange clown. I cannot. Recently, Biden announced the approval of 1 million PAC Act claims. Please note his son Beau died from brain cancer in 2015 due to burn pit exposure during the war. He is passing this act to prevent families of veterans from experiencing the devastating pain he experienced when he lost his son due to toxic exposure. The man doing the Lord's work. Anyway, South Carolina's highest court ruled that a law allowing parents to spend taxpayer money on private schools violates the Constitution. Good. If you want your kids to go to private school, pay for it. You damn so. One good thing that happened recently in NYC is lawmakers have approved a bill to study slavery and reparations. Good. Run us $151 trillion each, and please note, experts have said that the $1 trillion isn't even enough. Damn. Y'all still can't quantify how many Africans y'all brought over here or tried to bring, because you have to count those that were thrown overboard, those that jumped overboard, and those that died waiting to board the ships at the door of no return. So please, you can still smell the stench of fecal matter and blood in the holding area they kept the enslaved people in. Run us our money, because y'all can't even tell if is it 1.13 trillion or 151 trillion. Y'all can't even tell us. Run us our money. And finally, Van Jones stated something worth listening to on CNN, and I quote, "Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are not taking the same exam. He gets to get lawless. She has to be flawless." End quote. Now here are some tweets that I just love. The reason we're all so anxious is because we're about to find out in less than 2 months if America is too stupid to live. End quote. Well, America with 3 Ks, if you are too stupid to live, then you truly deserve to die. The election is a cognitive test for the United States. End tweet. And honey, we lose that test 99.9% of the time. Former Attorney General Eric Holder tweeted, "There is no cavalry coming, no miracle solution, no saviors. In the end, we, the American people, not any of our institutions, have to save our democracy by voting in defense of that democracy this fall. We are the cavalry. The responsibility is ours." Well said, Eric Holder. Someone else tweeted, "It doesn't start with gas chambers. It starts with saying immigrants eat your pets." End tweet. So Trump made this egregious statement, and the next day, Haitian families reported keeping their kids home from school due to safety concerns as a woman had her car vandalized and there were bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio, forcing the closure of 2 hospitals. The editor for the Haitian Times was swatted and one of their gatherings was canceled. And Wittenberg University in Springfield, Ohio, said someone threatened to shoot Haitians on campus. Thus, all campus events were canceled. Clark State College, also in Springfield, announced that they were going virtual that week due to threats. Additionally, an annual diversity event was canceled. Trump also said he wants to deport Haitian immigrants. To all of that, I say, there are 400,000 eligible Haitian voters in Florida. So let's see how that works out when one of the candidates is Jamaican and the other candidate is a bigot. Y'all think Jamaicans and Haitians don't get along, but I lived in Miami, so I know the truth. Fight a Haitian in Miami-Dade County and watch the Jamaicans show up and show out. And Trump pissed off the NBA because in an unusual turn of events, the Miami Heat released a statement condemning the rhetoric against the Haitian community. The statement read, "The Miami Heat staff, like Miami itself, is a diverse and brilliant mix of vibrant cultures, including members of the Haitian community." The team wrote in the statement, "The false narrative around them is hurtful and offensive and has sadly made innocent people targets of hateful speech and physical threats. Our Haitian employees, fans, and friends deserve better." End quote. Hashtag scathing. Then Trump doubled down when asked by a reporter if he denounced the bomb threats in Springfield. He responded with, and I quote, "I don't know what happened with the bomb threat. I know that it's been taken over by illegal migrants, and that's a terrible thing that happened." End quote. I have no words. Now peep this. An Ohio sheriff told residents to write down the addresses of Kamala Harris supporters. Bruh, we need a list of all Trump supporters because after the election, they will want to go back into hiding and being teachers, nurses, and judges, and that shouldn't be. And that's exactly what happened last time. All those Trump signs left them yards real quick when he won, and it left again when he lost. We got to clock these people. Trump's vice president pick and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance also followed up with a tweet that read, "In Springfield, Ohio, there has been a massive rise in communicable diseases, rent prices, car insurance rates, and crime. This is what happens when you drop 20,000 people in a small community. Kamala Harris's immigration policy aims to do this in every town in our country." End tweet. He stated that Haitian immigrants are spreading HIV, and that statement led the calls for him to resign as senator. Because even if you hate Haitian Americans or Haitians in general, your stupid ass cannot, as a U.S. senator, disparage your own constituents. Yo, Ohio, this y'all king? And someone quote tweeted and stated, "Really cannot overstate how scary it is that a sitting United States senator is stirring up a pogrom against 20,000 black people he is supposed to represent in a bid to be vice president." Fun fact, there is a name for this policy in politics. And it's literally called, wait for it, drum roll please, the dead cat strategy, also known as dead catting. According to Wikipedia, this is the political strategy of deliberately making a shocking announcement to divert media attention away from problems or failures in other areas. The present name of this strategy has been associated with British former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, political strategist Lynton Crosby. Need I say more? The British Trump's admin created this bullshit. Wow, shocker. And didn't the Republican Party say something about cat ladies? Someone tweeted, "We have a white Republican men problem, not a Haitian problem." End tweet. Well, speaking of J.D. Vance, here's a tweet from Vote Vets. J.D. Vance skipped 45 of the last 45 Senate votes. Imagine asking for a promotion when you're not doing your job. Well, here's a tweet from Biden. The year before I came to the presidency, we saw the biggest increase in murder rates on record. Last year, we saw the largest decrease in murder rates in recent history. Mic drop. Donald Trump has been running for president for 9 straight years. Kamala Harris has been doing it for 2 months, and she's kicking his ass. End tweet. All facts, no cap. Another tweet read, if you can't secure your own golf course, don't claim you can secure our borders. Another one said, haunted houses this year are just going to have the news on. Well, that sounds about right. Right. I still think it should have been all over when he said fine 11,780 votes. End tweet. Me too. Or when he made fun of disabled people or veterans, or when he admitted that he grabs them by the pussy. That was enough for me. Now, you know I had to quote a tweet from rapper Plies. Trump is effective because people hate certain things. People hate government, people hate immigrants, people hate black folks, people hate LGBTQ, people hate the media, people hate women, people hate the system. He pours gas on all the things people hate. That's Donald J. Trump. End tweet. Well said, Plies. The Republican Party is the party of hate. Shocker. Plies, please come on the show. I would love to have you. Fun fact. Donald Trump is a felon out on bail awaiting sentencing. All facts, no notes, not one lie told. The motherfucker out on bail, on bond, and y'all trying to elect him as president. Send a meteor. I'm sick of this shit. Here's another tweet from Plies. America is watching the last season of the Donald J. Trump show. The ratings are way down, and the American people have grown tired of the grumpy, whining, rambling, racist old man. The last episode will air on November 5th. The grift is over, Donald Trump. Find something else to do. End tweet. Checks notes. No notes. And one more tweet from Plies. I just want to apologize to women in general. All my life, I never knew how hard y'all really have it in this country. My mom knew it, but never showed it, especially women of color. This race has opened my eyes to so much, and I just wanted y'all to know. Y'all are some true warriors. End tweet. Thanks, Plies. I wish your brethren had the same POV. This isn't a tweet per se. It was a meme I saw on Twitter probably, and it goes a little something like this. The biggest Super Bowl in history is coming up November 5th. It's the Patriots versus the Steelers. End quote. That tweet was specifically for those more concerned with who is performing at the Super Bowl than who will be leading your country. Speaking of Steelers, apparently Russians launched a pro-Jill Stein social media blitz to help Trump win the election. I told y'all, Bernie, Jill Johnson, and the squad only come out of their trenches every 4 years to wreak havoc on our electoral process. They are the modern-day muckrackers, but not the good kind. And here's a tweet. Jill Stein shows up every 4 years like she's leap year herpes. Grabs some money from self-righteous dickheads who are all talk and strongholds of inaction, and then scuttles back into her Telegram group chat with Putin. Well, damn. Not leap year herpes. Lord, y'all already know how I feel about her and Bernie. They make me sick. Wait. Not strongholds of inaction. I love when people use the American language. Like, I really do believe the English language is so vast. There are so many ways to say and not say so many things. The pen is definitely mightier than the sword. So use it, as I do. AP African American Studies is banned in Florida and South Carolina. It was on the chopping block in Georgia, 3 of the blackest states in U.S. history that share a Confederate history overshadow slavery and states' rights. Not one hip-hop or sports podcaster mentioned it. But checks notes. You mofos want Kamala to waive child support? Hashtag the absolute weakest links. California lawmakers have voted to ban food additives found in Flamin' Hot Cheetos and Twinkies linked to behavioral issues in kids from school lunchrooms. This is what Michelle Obama was going for when she did the healthy lunch program as First Lady that y'all hated and said caused kids to starve. I cannot. Kamala's campaign contributed $38.5 million to down-ballot races to ensure not only a Democratic president, but also a Democratic Congress. And that's the point I want to harp on for a little bit. Don't do what y'all did in 2008 and elect a black president and walk out of the voting booth. You must vote the down ticket, dumbasses. You vote for the president, your Congress people, state representative, and local city officials. You vote the entire down ticket. And if you can't do that in 2024 because your parents and school system failed you by not showing you the I Am a Bill video, baby, just stay home. Election day is November 15th for you. Speaking of the down ticket, Bloomberg gave $10 million to House Democrats to help them take back the House from the GOP. Tiger Woods crawled out of the cave his ex-wife beat him into with the golf club. Remember that? Well, he crawled out to say this, and I quote, "Kamala's fake black accent is embarrassing and extremely offensive." End quote. This is the same motherfucker that said on national TV he wasn't black, and his black ass daddy, who darker than me, was standing right next to him. I cannot. This is why his ex-wife tore all his shit up and cleaned him out in the divorce. I love that song. Okay, now back to the question of Kamala's blackness. I will just say this. Kamala is way blacker than the first black president y'all claim. So if he's black, her HBCU going, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority pledging ass is definitely black. Case closed. Sidebar. Biden-Harris announced another $1.3 billion to HBCU funding. $17 billion in total has already been donated, while Trump said on the news again that he wants to cancel Pell Grants and the Department of Education that y'all need so badly. Please note, 67% of HBCU students receive Pell Grants. Hell, I went to a PWI and I had a Pell Grant. Oh, and Kamala will be spending election night at her alma mater, Howard University. Lucky. And here's another tweet. I get tired of black folks falling into white talking points about who is and isn't black because there were only two fountains. And Kamala would not be drinking from the white one. Be serious right now. End tweet. Well, no lies told. This is also not a tweet, but a picture of a sign that read, "Even on Gilligan's Island, they listen to the professor, not the millionaire." Checks notes, all facts. I'm a millennial. You know I was up at night watching that shit. Someone tweeted, "Why aren't either of the wives of the Republican presidential and vice presidential nominees on the campaign trail?" End tweet. Question that needs answers. Obama tweeted, "Here's my message to young people. You wouldn't let a bunch of old people decide what music you're going to listen to or what clothes you're going to wear. So don't let them decide your future." End tweet. A message, a word. And let me close this segment with this tweet. Dear Democratic voters, at 40% voter turnout, you lose. At 60% voter turnout, you win most of the time. At 65% voter turnout, you win every time. At 70% voter turnout, you get a congressional majority. At 80% voter turnout, you get a supermajority. End tweet. When I worked for Hillary in 2016, we had a saying. When Democrats vote, we win. So Democrats, go fucking vote. And I'll just end this episode with this. The presidential Nostradamus, Alan Lichtman, the guy I spoke about during this election cycle, predicted that Kamala will win the 2024 election. And he has never been wrong. From his lips to God's ears. Now go forth, be brilliant, and let your unique perception of the world guide you to vote. There are 8 days left until Election Day. Make a plan to vote and then go do it. Unless you're a voting third party or for Trump, then Election Day is December 9th. Thank you for listening to my political pontification. If you liked it, loved it, or hated it, please tell a friend to tell a friend. And please check out my website, thepoliticaltea.com. You can generously donate to my chai latte habit on it. I'm also on Twitter. Check me out.